Hey geniuses, here is the first video for 2.2, Reading Men We Reaped. In this video I want to go through the objectives calendar and make it really clear what the expectations are for you for this unit. I had some comments on the surveys that people were confused about how to start, where to go. And so my real goal for this unit is clarification. I want to make it very clear what is expected of you and when. So I'm hoping to do that with this video now. The objectives calendar really does have a lot of information for you, and so if you keep going back to this calendar, it will be helpful to you. It has our essential questions. This unit, I want you to be thinking about these questions as you get started. How does creating a new narrative empower Ward and others in Men We Reaped? How is Ward's narrative a quest for freedom and understanding after trauma? How does the culture of DeLille rely on the collective over the individual? How does Ward choose, create, and communicate the identities of the 5 men referenced in the title? What line of inquiry will I investigate for the higher level essay? So these are your essential questions, and go back to them to kind of remind you, ground you what it is you're supposed to be doing as you work through this unit. We also have 2 summative assessments for this unit. The first is a mid-unit test of 50 points, and the second is the essay, Men We Reaped higher level essay, and that will be 100 points. Okay, then the next part of the objectives calendar is a listing of all of the lessons, the target dates, the deadline, and skills you'll be working on, the objective for each lesson, and then the different steps, asking, are you done? Did you do all these steps? So let's take a look at those next. The first lesson is contextualizing the book, and you've done that. The target deadline was Friday, 11/19. The skills, reading nonfiction, analyzing nonfiction. And so I asked you for this one, let me read through the lesson objective first. Students will be able to situate the memoir in space and time. I asked you to take a look at this document, and you'll notice that I do have a link to it in the objectives calendar. The objectives calendar is in classroom information, that folder in Schoology, and so you can access all of the links at any time there if you want to. So the link is to this NPR interview that was done with Jesmyn Ward, and it's got both an audio and a written sort of version that's not quite exactly what was spoken in the interview, but it's close. And so I wanted you to either read or listen to that. It's about 7 minutes long. As you do that, I wanted you to take some notes in the packet, some Cornell notes. And then there is a second video that you've already watched, hopefully, in 2.1. Or excuse me, there's just a video in 2.1. The first is not a video. This is a document online from NPR. This guy's a video about the memoir genre. And so for that one, you were taking some notes in your packet. And then there's an article, black with a capital B, T-chart, and then a chance for you guys to talk with each other in the chit-chat chatterbox. All right, and then Mastery Check 2.1. The target deadline to complete the Mastery Check is Friday, 11/19. All right, the target date to complete the Mastery Check for the next lesson is Tuesday, 11/23. So this is the video you're watching right now, Reading Men We Reaped. And I suppose the video is really more about reading the lesson objective, because that's kind of or the objectives calendar, because that's what I'm spending my time talking to you about. But as you are now starting this unit, you are going to be reading for every deadline, and this is the part that has to do with Reading Men We Reaped. Okay, the reading deadline is listed here, pages 1 to 41. The chapter titles are then listed. Prologue, we are in Wolftown, and Roger Eric Daniels III. So those are the chapter titles that I'm expecting you to have read by the target deadline date. Okay? You'll be working on reading, analysis, evaluation, interpretation, and then discussion too on Tuesday. The lesson objective is students will be able to read and analyze pages 1 to 41. Prologue, We Are in Wolftown, and Roger Eric Daniels III. Those are the names of the chapters of that reading deadline. All right, and then you've got your tasks over here. Reading, or the video 1 and video 2. Choose and trace an authorial choice as you read. And then there are some reading questions, just like in the last unit, that are should-dos. They're going to help you with the mastery checks. They're going to help kind of get you to focus on what I think are the most important aspects of the reading deadline. But you don't have to do them. It might be just helpful to read through them as you're working through the deadline, the reading. Then there's a line of inquiry brainstorming aspire to do. And now that you've written one higher level essay, maybe you realize, hey, you know, I should have been thinking about this stuff earlier as I was reading the book. So if that's the case, make sure you do that first brainstorming. Read through the sample lines of inquiry, take a look at ones that are interesting to you and star them and start thinking about them. And then there's a spot for you to take notes on discussion. And so the discussion is going to be on Tuesday, 11/23. And if you have completed the first mastery check and shown mastery on it, then you're eligible to participate in discussion. Discussion is a great way to get some good info about the text. If you've just read it right before discussion, it's also a great way to kind of formulate some of your own thoughts as you're speaking about the text. And I will be moderating those discussions and trying to kind of help you guys make sense of the book. So it's a really good opportunity. I hope you'll take advantage of it. All right, so then we move on to 2.3. Look at it's the same deal. This time we're reading pages 42 to 80. And that deadline is for right after Thanksgiving. We've got the same what are we calling these, skills? And we've got a very similar lesson objective and very similar list of tasks to complete. No more videos though. Okay? You're going to have a third reading deadline on Wednesday. So you have to do that in just a couple of days. And then there's going to be that mid-unit summative assessment already on Friday, December 3rd. This is not a target deadline. This is an absolute deadline. Everyone's taking this mid-unit assessment on this day. You're going to have 20 multiple choice questions, 3 to 5 short answer response questions, and our objective is that you'll be able to answer questions about the first 128 pages of the book. So make sure you've got this date starred. It's a hard deadline. It's a middle of the unit hard deadline. All right, and then for the rest of the unit, we have 2 more reading deadlines. First target deadline is Tuesday the 7th, and then 2 days later, Thursday the 9th. And then we've got another planning document, much like the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass document, the 1.7. And then you're going to have your end of the unit summative assessment where you write another higher level essay. All right, and so our hard deadline for this unit is 12/17. All right, good luck as you read the book.